Okay, well, we're into it, starting to put the Go-Devil together, and made some pretty good progress here so far. So I've got the rear wheel on, chain on. I've got the pulley on here. That is a reciprocating pulley. Got her all cleaned up so that it will. This actually will move back and forth as the vehicle speeds up and slows down to adjust the speed, very much like a snowmobile. And now I'm actually working on putting the shocks back on. I had these shock covers, this half of them, re-chromed. This bit I did not. That might have been a miss, but it looks kind of okay. At the end of the day, this is a 1964 mini bike, so it's going to have a few imperfections. And just putting the springs back on, and I had this all powder coated, right? So it's all really nice, and the springs for the shocks that actually not for the shock action, but just for the thing moving back and forth as it's folding. These springs go on here, and as you can appreciate, on the powder coating, that's just a shame. It's really a shame. So, anyways, I looked out in my workshop and I found this irrigation tubing. It's actually meant for like an automatic watering system, like for hanging baskets and that sort of stuff. And cut myself a little piece of rubber right there. So, and just putting it over the end of the spring here, so that when it is attached, when it's on here, it doesn't completely ruin our powder coating. So, whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, I guess it's not original, but I don't know. I just don't want to immediately scratch it for obvious reasons. So that's what I'm doing with that. So it's coming along. It's getting to the point where it's starting to get a little bit exciting. Yeah. So, anyways, just wanted to go and share that little bit of an update and where we're at. Okay, so I'm really quite happy with this. Got the shocks on, got the springs on. I've got these little rubber covers over there to keep from messing up the powder coating, which is good. Uh, put them on here, and amazingly, it works. So here's a little demonstration for you. So there you go. Look at that. She's up in the drive position there, which is awesome. The one thing that has me wondering a little bit about is that these nylocks here are pretty loose, and there's no real way to tighten them down, because if you tighten them down too much, then then it binds up and it won't actually go down. The thing about it that I've realized though is that these shocks cannot come off of these studs, even if these nuts were completely removed, even if the nuts were completely missing. These shocks will not come off. I've actually tried it. They will not come off. But that said, I think I'm going to invest in some brand new nylocks, because these ones, being from 1964, are getting kind of old. And I want to make sure this is secure. Even though these cannot come off, I'm going to get a couple of new nylocks. Oh boy, that one's really loose. Okay, well, case in point. Case in point, not too happy with that, but I think it's just due to the fact these are old nylocks, because I do have it all assembled correctly. But other than that, working really good. So really happy with that bit. I think the next piece now, I think the next bit that I'm going to work on is actually connecting the front half of the bike to the rear half of the bike. So that's what we're going to do next, is get this all connected up in here. There's a bar that you use that actually goes through the frame here, goes through the frame right there, with just a couple of couple cotter pins on each side to actually hold this thing together and allow the top half of the bike to swing up. So that will be the next step. Once I do that, then I'm going to start tackling the clutch. As you can see, I've got the pulley on there, got the chain on, which probably needs some adjusting. I've purposely got it a bit loose just to make sure everything kind of will fit together, and then we'll adjust it. The adjustment for the chain is just done simply by the axle bolt and the brake bolt here, and just by simply loosening these off and moving them back and forth within this channel is what gives you the chain adjustment. Best I can tell. Best I can tell. That's pretty much it. So anyways, really happy with that so far. We'll continue the effort here. Okay, well, the time has come where we're going to try to marry these two pieces together. So what I'm going to do, what I've discovered is that actually having this a little bit raised actually I think is going to help the process. There's a little piece of wood here to kind of raise it up a little bit, and then I've got the shaft, and what we'll do is we'll try to thread it in here. I have not tried this yet. Oh, that worked out okay. Let's just give that a shot over here. This bit, try to get it off the edge here a bit. See if we can marry these up. Okay, well, I unfortunately had to do that off camera to get the shaft in there. It was a little bit of a struggle, but what I discovered was that if I actually folded the bike right up, sort of the way that, you know, it's not exactly correct there right now, but just essentially folded over onto itself, that it was a little bit easier to get the shaft into there. This frame, when I originally got it, was somewhat bent, and we straightened it, and as a result, getting that shaft back in there was a little bit of a struggle, but not too bad. I just, you know, grabbed the old trusty rubber mallet and just, you know, gave it a little bit of a bang and kind of pushed it into place and got her done. So the way this is secured, you know, you'd expect there to maybe be you know, some cotter pins on the outside of the shaft, but as you can see, the outside of the shaft is flush to the unit, and the cotter pin holes are on the inside, and that's actually perfect, so it can't go anywhere. So that would be the next step, to throw some cotter pins there and get this thing secured. So it's really great to see the thing starting to come together. So we'll get those cotter pins in there, and then we'll throw the front tire on it, see what we got. Okay, so we've got all the cotter pins in, got this all working properly. So now what we're going to do is we're also, of course, have got the you know, the shaft in for the front end, so the whole thing will articulate and fold. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put the front wheel on, see what she looks like. So I'm just going to spin it around here and try not to ruin anything as I do that. And we'll just see if we can get this done. Just throw this down here for a moment. Fold our handlebars back up, trying to avoid anything else here. Okay. Okay, so now I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this in first here. So I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here. Let me just smooth this over. So yeah, so I don't really know the proper process, but I think I want to put the front wheel on, but I think it'll be easier if I actually put this together here. So just doing that now. I'm gonna screw this up. Oh boy, it's nice when things work. How about that? First time I'm trying this, it seems to work properly. Okay, so we've got the wheel, front wheel here. So now we're going to stick it on the front end and see if we can see what she looks like. Okay, that fits in there, and this tightens down here. That's cool. Okay, cool. So now let me back this thing up here a little bit so you can see what we got so far. So you can see I've got the front wheel on. Oh, can you see that? No, maybe not quite. Here we go. That's a little better. Got the front wheel on. I've got the handlebars raised. But what I don't have is the back end raised. This is the bit we just finished doing. So we're going to try raising that up. And let's see. Hey, look at that. Look at that. So I've got it. Okay, so we've got the bike sitting a little flatter here now. I had to do a little bit of adjustment on this bar here to make sure that she sat a little bit flatter in her trajectory there. Just a minor couple of turns on the old turnbuckle there to go and get that thing to sit a bit flatter. And yeah, I'll just put her back up again because I don't think we quite saw that super well. I ran out of storage in the last shot, so we kind of lost it. But there we go. There she is up in the air, so that's pretty darn pretty darn cool. All we got to do now is put the clutch back on here. So the centrifugal clutch that goes on there, which is belt driven, will go on to here. And then of course the seat, obviously the seat needs to go on. We need to put on the the throttle grip and the grip for the brake side, as well as the brake lever as well. We need to run all the cables for that. But essentially we're in pretty good shape here right now. So that is that's pretty good. I got to go get a couple of these nylocks because I'm not happy with how snugly these are going together. But well, there's always something, right? But I mean, generally speaking, that's some pretty darn good progress. So yeah, so I think we'll end it there, and hope everybody's doing really good, and we'll keep you apprised as we continue on with the project.